Oh, wait. So, well, you know what? We could just include this. I saw a TikTok that basically said it only takes 1,000 books to be considered a library.
Oh, so
So
are you
BookEnds
starting
is
a
a
library?
Yeah.
Oh, BookEnds is a library.
Like library status, talk to your tax guy. Like, let's see what we can get out of it. I did go and count. I come up short by like 270, like around there, 270 books. So
You counted your books?
Hell yeah.
Oh my God, you need another hobby.
Hell yeah. I do. You're right, I do. But I did count. I was bored. I counted them. It was like 11 p.m. Like I should have by now.
I can't imagine how bored I would have to be to walk around my house and count books. And I know by saying that, people are going to comment, oh, I know exactly how many books I own.
Yeah, exactly. And one day when I'm bored, I'll drive over to the BookEnds office and I'll finger tap every single one of them until I have a final count. But BookEnds is definitely considered a library. Come on, at least.
Okay, well, I guess I got to apply for library status.
I think you should.
But then strangers will come visit.
Oh, no, we don't. Used to have that. I remember those stories.
Yeah, you did.
Bad idea, folks. Don't do it. Anyway, welcome back to welcome back to the BookEnds YouTube channel. I'm James McGowan.
I am still barely Jessica Faust, I think.
We are literary agents who have taken our popular blog to YouTube to discuss all things publishing. And today, Madison, our assistant social media manager, video editor extraordinaire, pulled a really great comment that inspired this video. So the comment said, I was querying as the genre I wanted my book to be and not the genre it actually reflected, and therefore inspired a whole video.
That comment blew me away. And in all my years of doing this, it never dawned on me that people were doing that. Like I just assumed people didn't know their genre, but it never dawned on me that this is why some people maybe didn't know their genre.
Yeah, first of all, 3 cheers to that commenter for the self-awareness. We have to respect it.
And thank you for sharing.
Yeah,
really, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, well, truthfully, it's one of the easiest and perhaps most common, I don't want to say mistakes, but like, I guess mistakes people make when they're querying is that they get their genre wrong. And this has multiple implications, right? Like probably the most obvious is you may have tried to fit it in as a genre and then it's not actually something that we represent and we would pass on it. That's probably the most obvious one.
Yeah.
But you had something you wanted to say, so I won't.
Well, no, I think this actually happens a lot where an author sits down to write a book in a genre. Maybe it's the genre they read, maybe it's the genre they've always wanted to write in. Yeah. Maybe it's the genre connected with their writing community. So it's the one they naturally think they fit into. Or
the one they've been writing in and now this project is just something different.
Yeah. And they finish the book and instead of reevaluating the genre, they just assume they wrote what they intended to write,
right,
and don't even really think beyond this. And actually, I can think of a number of my clients who had situations where maybe even we pitched it as one thing and it sold into a different genre. Or in one case, I had an author who was writing women's fiction and had a very heavy mystery element. And we got on the phone call and I said, I don't want the mystery in there. I think you should remove it. And it was a situation where they were trying to write into something and not allowing the book to have become what it became, which was not the original genre.
Right. Yeah. Your genre is probably your most obvious marketing tool along with your cover. But it's also a querying tool as well. And I think in order to do either of those things successfully, you have to have a really good handle on what you've written.
I also think it's an important editing tool.
Yes.
Because if you don't understand the expectations readers will have of a certain genre, it's really hard, I think, to make sure your book is working. So if you start out writing a romance and it ends up switching to women's fiction, but you still think you're writing a romance, that book may no longer be working. And then it may no longer work as either, because you have been trying to put that sort of square peg in a round hole. And when you go back to edit it, it didn't dawn on you that maybe you don't need all these romantic scenes because they don't actually fit what the book's become anymore.
Yeah, what we always say, the best books challenge their genre, but you can't challenge your genre and really expand into things until you know it. And then, and if you don't know it and know, like romances, we talk about it all the time, have a set of expectations. They have the happy ever after. They want to see the characters meet at a certain point. Like there are things that need to happen in a romance. There has to be a dead body and a murder, or things like that. So there are things that need to happen, and you can't start to push those conventions if, like you said, Jessica, you're writing outside of it, but think you're right. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to know it.
Yeah, and one thing I've suggested in previous videos and in many other things is to write your query letter before you write your book, so that you understand what the blurb is and what your big selling points are and what your hook is. But I'm going to add to that, based on this commenter, that I would also include your word count and your genre and all of those details in the query letter, because it forces you to double check that. And if your manuscript is no longer fitting the genre you first intended, I think you have to sort of look between the manuscript and the query letter and think, well, do I want to push this manuscript towards that genre? Is that the best way to do this? Or do I need to rethink the genre as I wrote it in the query letter, and then rethink them? Because if you started out writing a mystery and your book suddenly became a thriller, my guess is the beginning of the book doesn't match the end.
Right.
So you may have to go back and edit according to the genre, not just edit the pitch according to the genre.
And you're editing anyway. So, right? You're editing anyway, right? So I think having that, even like you said, you finish the book, sort of reevaluate, having that fresh lens, or at least the confirmed lens when you start your revisions, is going to be very helpful.
Yep.
I just wanted to expand a little bit because I mentioned it in the beginning of the video, but the genre is not only a marketing tool and a writing tool, but it is a querying tool. And I think the easiest way to show that is that you can build a whole list of who you're going to query based on genre. So I always tell, notice it. Anyway, I always tell, I'm a mess today, I've got to admit. I always tell clients to start with a list of agents that you don't know anything about, but you know that they are representing your genre. And then you can sort of whittle it down from there. So having that just sort of gives you that broad list. It's a starting point. Anyway, so.
One thing we've said before, and I do want to add, is that don't try to decide that your book is all the genres. So if you're writing a mystery that became more of a romance, let's say, your book isn't both.
Right.
It's just not. It can be a romance with elements of mystery, or a mystery with elements of romance. And that's part of what you need to decide when figuring out the genre, and part of how you need to.
Hi, Olive.
Olive just entered the building.
Clamor.
Or should I say the library?
The library. Yeah, you're very much library.
You need to edit the book then to make sure that whatever genre is most prominent and where your readership is coming from is the one that stands out, because it shouldn't be sort of equal elements of both.
Think of the bookstore. You're walking into the bookstore, like, where is my book? I need to find a copy of my book. Where do you think it's going to be?
Yeah.
Go to that section, and it's very likely that's probably what your genre would be considered.
And where do you think it's going to be after you've written it? Not just where would you like it to be before you write it.
Yeah. Ooh, look at that. Put that on a pillow too. Very quotable individuals, us.
We are. We have a lot of pillows with quotes all over our library.
We should. We should. That's a great idea. Anyway, know your genre, folks. That's what it all boils down to. Don't yell at her. She's vocal. She wants to join the video.
She does. She has opinions.
Yeah, well, so do we. So she fits right in. Well, thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you back here next time.
Bye.
Anyway, welcome back to the BookEnds YouTube channel. I'm James McGowan.
I'm Jessica.
That's it's only on video days.
I am not a library, but I am apparently in the middle of a fireworks show.
Anyway, let's start that part over.
Or Madison, you can leave that all in because I'm sure the expression on my face was priceless.
Screen grab it. That's a good blooper. Good Instagram blooper. Anyway,